For me, there were a lot of great moments while taking this class. There are five of us in this class together from the academy. They are John Stepp, Colton Owens, Shelby Bosnick, and Ree Middleton, and myself. It just so happened that John, Colton, and myself waited to the last day to do our informative speech. So, we were in our school's library trying to do our speech, and we could just not get it done for some reason. It seemed like every time one of us would get close to completing our informative speech, one of the others would do something really dumb to mess the other one up, and we would all just burst out into laughter every time. All that went on for probably about 2 to 3 hours, but finally, after a lot of wasted time and laughing, we got our speeches done and finally got to go home. Another memory that I have is kind of similar to the one that I first mentioned. While in the process of doing my demonstrative speech, my demonstrative speech, my dad heard me while I was doing it. He said that all he heard was someone talking in the bathroom, and he was so confused. So he busted in my bathroom while I was only 20 seconds away from finishing my speech. He and I both died out laughing when he opened the door, and we both still talk about it to this day. An- One area of difficulty that I probably struggled with the most is giving a speech to a computer screen. I've given several speeches at school while running for student council president and at certain events outside of school, and it's just a different feeling. While giving a speech over a certain thing, I like to be able to interact with people and see what kind of mood they're in to try to figure out a certain tone to use while giving the speech. It is hard to do that when it's just you in the room. Another thing that I struggle with is the fact that I have a problem with stuttering. It may not seem that apparent on some of my speeches, but that's because I would start over if I started to get bad. It is not that big of a problem while talking in front of a big crowd because I can kind of disguise it in some different ways. But when it's just you in a video up close, it is very noticeable. One of the last difficulties that I had was definitely turning my work in on time, and I think that I'm not the only one from Lee that struggled with it either. I would always wait until the last minute to do and turn everything in. There are several lessons that I've learned also. One of them being that when I go to the University of Arkansas to not procrastinate so much. Always complete all the assignments as soon as my teacher or professor gives them to me. The reason being is so that when it comes down to the final few weeks of the class and the teacher or professor starts to hand out a whole bunch of assignments, you will be prepared for them and won't have to be rushing to do them before that dreaded 11:59 turn-in time. Another thing that I've learned while taking this class is how to properly and correctly type full and body outlines and how they should be worded. Before this class, I had only written a few short and simple outlines for different papers and such, but this was the first time I've experienced what I consider a full outline, with all the examples to really teach us how to type everything out properly. And lastly, for what I've learned